fade out. It's cold. Welcome back to another episode of Cut Different. This your brother, your neighbor, your friend, your cousin, your confidant. If y'all want to tell me y'all secrets, I'm going to tell everybody that listen. All y'all secrets. But anyway, I got Shallon with me.
What's going on, people?
The Blood CEO.
Sue Woo. No, let me stop putting that out there, man. Let me stop doing that.
What's going on with
Not
you,
much, man. I'm good. Good. Blessed.
We here on the Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
Got all these fans of slave ball out here running around, getting ready with their team jerseys and everything. I almost like football a little bit. Then I changed my mind.
When did it change for you?
In 87.
Oh, so mine's more recent. Mine's more recent. Yeah, mine's changed with the whole Kaepernick situation.
Yeah.
Kind of bowed out of it altogether. But I will watch the game, though. Am I being a hypocrite? I'm still going to watch it.
No. I mean, I watch the commercials. I'm always in the room with somebody on Super Bowl Sunday that like football, so I got to watch it. I'm mad at COVID because Super Bowl parties got the best wings. Best wings, I don't know if they just get excited and they make their wings special or they get them made a certain way, but I love the wings at Super Bowl parties.
Specifically made on Super Bowl.
On Super Bowl, they be better.
Right. All right.
Plus, it give me something to do while everybody watching the game. I can try all the different flavors.
And nobody paying attention to you. Like,
no, they ain't even looking at the background.
Yeah.
They don't get hungry till halftime.
Right. They come up in there and see all the wings gone. Man, we hit the wings like that.
And I'm gone. I'm already gone. I'm in the car.
Good food, man.
Yeah. You got a team you rooting for?
Man, it's gonna sound crazy, but I'm rolling with the old school on this one. I want to see Tom Brady do it again.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like the guy, I didn't like him when he was with the Patriots, but I hated that he was just that damn good. I think there's an argument to be made that he is the GOAT. You know, even if you just look at pure stats, you know, and given that fact, you know, or given that opinion, I should say, I'm not really into, what's the other guy name from Kansas, the quarterback? Yeah, okay.
I don't watch football, so
See?
I can't tell you.
Right. So the new kid.
I know Tom Brady is.
When it comes down to the new school versus the old school, I'm always gonna go old school. It's always been the case. Even when it was rappers beef, I'm always go with the old school, the
really?
the veteran situation.
So when it was KRS versus Nelly, you was with Chris.
Yep. Yep. Underlay E-I over here, man. I was rolling with Bronx, man. Yep.
Man, you know what? I have a hard time figuring out how you get a GOAT out of football. Because to me, dude don't have that many. He can't throw the ball to nobody. It's not like basketball where you shooting that shot and to go in the hole. It has nothing to do with nobody else.
Okay.
With football, somebody got to catch it for that to go on your stats.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with what I understand about football, it takes the entire team to make something happen. Everybody got to be firing at the same time to make something happen.
I'm gonna push back on that only because, you know, when even in basketball, yes, you made that shot, but somebody could have set up that perfect assist where you got a clear lane where you can get to, you know what I mean, where you can take that jump.
Jordan or Kobe out there.
Well, see, that now we're talking about the exceptions to the rule. We're talking about just as an average player being able to do that, then yeah, it would take team effort. Which is why I say with Tom Brady, yes, you got to throw the ball, somebody has to catch it. But it's about the way he poises his receivers and get in a position to get that ball to that person. You know what I mean? It still takes an arm to get it there.
You can be a great player on a bad team.
No doubt.
With football, it's like if half of how many players on one football team? Like 60?
52.
52 players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 3 teams on each team, like 3 or 4 teams on each team.
Right. You're not going to tell me that all of them are the best of the world.
No.
Exactly. No, I get it.
I mean, but it's hard for me to just grasp the concept of GOAT being applied to a quarterback when that's all he does Well, throw the ball. He
so
don't
I'm
play
measuring
defense,
it based on
nothing. He don't do nothing else.
Well, let's base it on just what he does as a quarterback. If we talking about just playing his position as a quarterback, looking at his statistics, looking at what he was able to do with the Patriots, and then what he did within the first year of being in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, yes, you got the offensive coordinators, you got the head coach, they all got their schemes and stuff like that, but he has to go out there and deliver that. You know, he has to bring back the deliverables for that team. And so, just looking at it stat-wise from that perspective, if he's not GOAT, he got to be among the top. He got to be among the
the GOAT of throwing the ball.
Just the GOAT of playing that role as quarterback. Absolutely.
But he doesn't even draw the play up. He does nothing but his job. He does his job very well,
and that's all I'm saying.
But that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when I think of players like even tennis players, you got Andre Agassi, Tommy Chong, yes, Venus and Serena, Arthur Ashe. These players, with the inclusion like Michael Jordan, when they played, they did a lot. I could see somebody else like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders being in conversations to be really great because they had multiple jobs. You know what I mean?
In terms of what? Because they just ran the ball, right?
I thought they did more than that. When they played,
you saying when they played multiple positions?
Multiple positions, multiple sports.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then when you get in those kind of conversations, I got to see you produce more than just that one thing.
Well, if I'm judging you on that one thing though, in your arena, if that's what you do, like if I'm the best plumber in the world, there's no toilet I can't unclog. There's no sink I can't,
But you're doing more than just toilets.
No, I'm operating in the scope of what a plumber does.
A plumber.
Okay, and a quarterback is operating as Tom Brady's operating in the scope of what a quarterback does.
Is a quarterback considered a football player?
Yeah, absolutely.
He don't do nothing. He don't play no more football. He just put on the uniform.
He takes every hike. He takes every hike in the game, offensively, and either the ball he gives to the running back or the ball he throws to the receiver makes points on the game. Outside of the kicker, obviously.
These listeners thinking like he got to be the dumbest dude in the damn world to even ask that question. What I just asked.
And then I got to be even dumber to sit up there and answer the damn thing.
I said, is a quarterback considered a football player? Somebody just turned their YouTube off.
Right, somebody just like, you know what? They're going to be here forever talking about that.
So Super Bowl today, are you having any type of get together with the Super Bowl party?
No, nope.
Nothing.
Plans at all.
1-1? Nothing.
No, I'm staying. I'm keeping it at home. It's typically how I do things. Now, to be totally honest, I had a friend of mine that was he was putting together something at his house, but things fell through. Folks had other plans, and we thought it would just play it safe and just everybody do their own thing. Yeah.
If I was a football fan, I did the perfect setup for one the other day.
What's that?
I got off a little early from work, and I went to Home Depot and put together my fire pit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So if I was a football fan, I can put that TV outside, turn the game on, and if I wanted to have a little get together, everybody can stand around that fire, keep warm, keep toasting.
Yeah.
But I'm saving it for something more important.
Like what?
Like the upcoming release date of Coming to America 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the second
that.
trailer?
I'm trying not to watch it because they tell too much of movies in the trailers
true.
now.
The first trailer was very vague. The second one, I didn't watch it either, so I don't know how, if it's revealing too much or not. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I can't wait for it. They had that movie completed in 2019. My son worked on the set.
I heard, didn't they do a lot of filming out here in Georgia?
Yeah, at Tyler Perry Studio.
Yep, I thought so.
And Rick Ross' house. They used that for the castle, I believe.
Nice.
I think the castle that's coming in on the intro where it lives.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Ross's house.
That's in the trailer, yeah.
Which is, Ross's house is Evander's old house.
And where's this?
Down off Riverdale somewhere.
Okay.
Riverdale, Jonesboro area.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. That's a crazy. I say that house take $1 million a year to run it.
Damn.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's more than Mike Tyson's home. 50, and he got a great book too. I'm not getting any endorsements from it, but 50 got a real good book. 50 Cent has a book called Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Yeah.
And I listened to the audio book of it. Man, it's amazing, man. It's a really good book. But and then he talks about when he brought Mike Tyson's home, $15 million home in Connecticut. Mm. He said it was taking him about close to $100,000 to run it every month, and he was like, it just don't make sense, So he backed out of it. So I can only imagine. You said what, $1 million to run that home? It's crazy.
I thought Rick Ross was crazy doing that because I don't be in everybody's pocket, but people show you stuff that Ross was only worth for like $50 million or something like that. And I'm like, if you worth like even $50 million is a lot of money to be worth. Absolutely. But if you worth $50 million and you got a piece of property that costs you $1 million a year to run it, that's too much.
I agree.
That's too much. I would have to. The only way I would get something like that is if I solar panel the whole top, so I can power the house without electric bills. You know what I mean, all that kind of stuff, and make sure it's all electric, so there ain't no gas bill too.
What about the lawn care?
Shoot, it'd be me and my son out there on the ride lawnmower. You get that side, I got this side.
Oh, y'all would be cut down there. That'd be a whole day process, man. You'll buy a lot of that quick.
The city would be putting notices on my house talking about, you need to cut your grass, sir. I just did 2 months ago.
Boy, you can imagine the homeowners association letters from that type of thing.
Oh, man. You better not have no homeowners associated. The property takes up like a whole Atlanta block. And Atlanta blocks are long. It's like a whole couple streets. I never been on the property, but I rode by it.
Oh, wow.
And it's literally.
Yeah, I never seen it. I think outside of what we saw from the trailer of that movie, I never actually been there. So
the property is about the length of a mall.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. And that's you also had. Did you hear about T.I. this week?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about Tip and Tiny's
Wild Adventures
Chronicles. Do you believe it?
I don't see that in him. But you never do. I don't see it, but I feel like he was also putting the target on his back because of all his Black Lives Matters and all his involvement in politics. You got to clean up your personal life when you're doing stuff like that.
Absolutely. Make sure that closet cleaned out because they will go in it.
Yeah.
And bring out everything.
Like somebody can be paid just to come up with these stories just about you. If you got just a little small crack where they can wiggle that story in.
Yeah.
If you and your wife are out here having 3-ways, you need paperwork, sir. You need video footage saying that we agreed to this and it's okay. You know what I mean?
100%.
You need to do that with other celebrities.
Dave Chappelle had this little skit from his old show. Man, I love the Dave Chappelle show where he had the little non-disclosure agreement. Yeah. Where he had the woman sign for the That might be a real thing, man. The lawyer that comes up with that and make that like a product, that man, he probably make some money. I think it'll take off.
I was dating a chick that offered me an NDA. Yeah.
You signed it?
No. Nope. Couldn't see myself doing it. Because I don't really care. Not that I was going to talk about it. I still don't. I wouldn't even tell nobody her name. But why? Like, why do you think I need to talk about you at any point? Even though I am right now. Mary J. Blige is who I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
I wish.
I'm about to say, man, look, we about to have a whole podcast on that alone. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I reserve my judgment from the situation going on with Tip or whatever. At the end of the day, we don't know. Nobody knows unless, only the people involved and God knows what really happened. But I will say this, if it is true, then he wrong. They're wrong. Having consensual sex is one thing, but if you doing things outside of that person's agency, to be able to choose right from wrong, choose what they want to do, then that's never cool, no matter who does it. But again, I'm not calling balls or strikes on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know enough of it.
I just think it's crazy. I'm sensitive. I grew up like most black guys in this country. We all know a woman that's really been through something like that, some rape or molestation. And to hear people crying wolf about stuff like that, or making up accusations about people, those are real charges. That's life-altering stuff that you're saying about somebody.
Absolutely.
And if you're in concert with celebrities, sleeping with them, and things go left, it's not cool to use those type of crimes just to get some publicity for a book you got coming out, or I heard one of them hired Lisa Bloom. Lisa Bloom don't even win.
I don't even know Lisa Bloom.
Lisa Bloom is the same chick that she defended a lot of women in like sexual assault crimes or been victimized by men. What I heard, she defended Tierra Marie.
Okay. Yep.
On that sex tape thing, which I don't even understand why that was even in court.
Okay, I think I know you're talking about. She a Hispanic lady?
I think she's white. She's a white lady over in California.
Yeah.
She doesn't really win, but she does.
She get the publicity though.
She gets publicity.
She know how to get notoriety to that story at least. Yeah.
And to wiggle out some money. I heard an interesting thought on Breakfast Club is I believe it was DJ Envy that said something like she doesn't really win. What she does is she makes a big scene about it, and that pressures you to settle out of court.
Oh, so she about the settlement. She's not really trying to take it to trial.
Yeah, she's not trying to win because she don't have a case.
Right.
But if I make
enough to think about it, then you want to shut me up and pay me off.
Right.
Settlement. Yeah,
and,
that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure she's going to use the same tactic with T.I. and Tiny. She got it all blown up like this. She's going to keep pushing it out. She's probably going to try to do what they did for R. Kelly on Lifetime or Weed or something.
So do like a movie on him?
The little documentary.
Yeah.
These are our experiences.
They suspended. I heard. I don't know how true this is, but I thought I read somewhere or heard somebody say that they suspended the show.
Which one?
The Family Hustle.
They did?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me look.
I'm sure they're gonna.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're gonna. With
that's
your
playing
stars
with the money right there,
show,
man. Yeah, that's playing with the money right there.
In court for something like that. Well, in public court.
Right.
For something like
exactly.
that. Yeah, you gotta slow down and wait to see where the lava drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. T.I.'s reality show pauses production after sexual abuse allegations. Yeah, that's official.
Crazy. That's crazy. Like this father of how many kids? Father of 81.
81 kids.
Yeah, T.I. got a lot of babies.
Well, Papa Rolling Stone, man.
Yeah, man.
Shit, hey, man, have many as you want, as long as you take care of them. I'm sure you're doing that.
You got the means to do it.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
Nothing wrong with that. So in 1954, there was a documentary called "Selling to the Black Negro." To the Negro.
Selling
I said black Negro.
Yeah,
to
you
the
Negro. Put the emphasis
I
on
sounded
that.
racist as hell, didn't I? No, I'm not
you
racist.
wanted that thing to be.
I got two black friends.
Well, you got to count them, right? That makes... So what it said?
It was really just telling them talking about the untapped market of marketing and starting businesses just to sell to black people. It's like 20, 30 minutes long about how this was a real documentary they were putting out there. Like, stop thinking black people don't have money.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I
think I know what you're talking about. Was this in color? And it was talking about how blacks want to look nice in fine clothes too.
Yeah.
I seen that, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Very eye opening. Very eye opening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you look around at what's going on right now, some people still taking pages out of that book.
Absolutely.
Like they come up with stuff just for us. The commercials, they talking about they want black people in certain commercials. I'm like, they've been doing that forever. They've always promoted things. They do the wholesome videos, commercials in white.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's like McDonald's and stuff like that, hell, I wanted to be Calvin growing up.
Interesting. I just saw that. I saw that video popped up in my feed. Somebody was revisiting and breaking down the Calvin McDonald's commercial. But go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one. So, you know, they've always marketed. It's so many marketing firms in this country that solely go after the black dollar.
Okay.
We did $1.5 trillion in 2 years.
As in we, as in mean like consumers?
Black consumers. Mm-hmm. Black American consumers.
Mm-hmm.
We
spent
not even the
1.5.
world. 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 1954, on the video, it said it's an untapped market worth outspending accumulated $15 billion in 1954.
So you can imagine what it is now through inflation and everything.
And you know who that video was produced by? The founders of the publishing company that gave us magazines like
The
Jet
Source.
Magazine, Ebony,
Oh, okay.
Tan.
Essence.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I think later on they were bought out
Okay.
by a black company. But I'm not sure Jet ever was, to be honest. I know the magazine itself was founded by black people, but the publishing house, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Come back to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've always... Everything that we think is black owned, and you know how they promoting all of that stuff right now? A lot of times, a lot of that stuff... I'm sorry, I'm bumbling over my words, but I got so many thoughts about that particular subject.
Let's talk about it.
It's not necessarily black owned. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The things that they promote the most of us, you got to dig to find a real black owned business.
Right.
Fortune 500 companies that predominantly promote to black people aren't black owned companies, and that's all they accumulated their wealth off of our interests, off of our wants, not our needs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, give an example just for the folks listening.
Fashion. You know 100%.
What I mean? That's what I was thinking about as you were speaking about.
You know,
it,
fashion.
Absolutely.
Like, we have to have these certain brands to feel like we look nice.
Yes, man, you speaking my language. Because in that documentary, correct me if I'm wrong, it was I wish we knew the name of it. But there's a part where there's a black guy. He has on a nice suit. And he has this confidence about him. We call it peacocking. I don't know if that was a term that they said back in the day, but it's kind of like no matter what I actually have or what I actually own, I can feel like I own something because I'm in this nice suit or whatever like that. To me it's a mirage, man. It's
called flexing nowadays.
Absolutely. Well. Yeah, and nobody does it better than hip hop when it comes to the flexing.
Us.
We are hip hop. You know what I mean? And so I guess the reason why I'm in such agreement with that is because it happens now where like Louis Vuitton and all these major European luxury designers, they don't really service us in terms of, they'll take our dollars, but they don't have our interest in point. Perfect example is, I think it was Gucci that maybe a year or so ago, they came out with these little black, I don't know if they were keychains or something, but they were like these little black figurines. And when I tell you they look just like some Sambo, like Pickaninny looking toys, and they were black, and they were being, I don't know I'm not going to call them toys, but the listeners may know what I'm talking about, but they had to hurry up and pull it because there was all this outrage about, hey, this don't look right or whatever like that, and they pulled it.
A few of them don't mind making them kind of things, like was Burberry that did the rope around one of their cardigans.
Yep.
They did the robe. Everybody knows about the coolest monkey in the jungle. Like, they don't have to respect us,
right?
Unless we demand it. Now, some things people kind they kind of, I don't really know how to say this one. I think some things are blown out of proportion.
Oh, there we go. Nah, absolutely. In this cancel culture, there are some things that blur the lines.
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree that in most cases, you know, they don't have our best interests at heart.
I don't think they ever do.
Right.
Even when they're not doing things like that, they don't have our best interests. I look at a lot of things like, there's nothing wrong with quality.
No.
I mean, if you're a person that goes for quality,
let's clear
you don't put a price on quality,
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Right.
There's certain things I like that I just, you know, when it comes to underwear, I'm jockey all the way. Not that, you know what I mean? That's what I like. I could go get the $5 jaws from Walmart 3-pack, but no, I like what I like. But when it comes to like what they do to Jordan, we'll talk about Michael Jordan,
okay,
all day long, and I know I'm skipping a little bit.
No, you.
But when it comes to Michael Jordan, you know, he doesn't do anything for the black community. He doesn't care about us. You look at him, not doing anything about the kids dying in his lines or people getting robbed for his shoes. He's a spokesperson from Nike. Like, he's on payroll. Those shoes aren't even his. Not to even defend him. I don't even want to get into defending him because I feel like it's ridiculous when, you know what I mean? That's one of them things that I feel like is far-fetched. Like, they really trying to make something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm. We're laying the blame at his feet.
Right.
Okay.
Because he's black.
Okay.
That also contributes to that survivor's remorse a lot of us feel when we start doing a little bit better. Mm-hmm. We don't hold the companies that make money. Like, nobody screamed out Nike's name. Nobody says anything about Gucci. Mm-hmm. Right after the little 5-minute boycott, black people back in Gucci, back in Burberry,
yep,
Louis Vuitton, like whoever, whatever fashion. And another thing I don't get about that, most of the stuff ugly. If you look at some of them high-end fashions.
Yeah, man. When I see some of these rappers wearing this,
you see the shoes?
Listen, the shoes, the jackets, first of all, if we're keeping it all the way real, a lot of times I'm speaking in defense of the big brothers. They don't even have our sizes, man.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? So maybe I'm being biased right now.
They stop at XL. If you get that.
If you can get that.
It's mostly SML. That's all you see.
So they're not even marketing to us. You know what I mean?
No. And if they French cut or something like that, you might find your size. That ain't your size for real.
No, indeed, man.
You know, that's a size smaller than what you actually need.
Got that big belly on swole, man.
Yeah, man.
Nah, so.
But, not to get too far off, it's just thinking about documentaries like that and the wealth gap.
Yep.
That's something that we need to really start paying attention to. And even reading certain articles about it, even the ones of us that think we are investing properly. We often leave out the things that can accumulate generational wealth.
Absolutely.
And most of us start businesses, and I'm guilty of that, where we have to slave to make money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Most of us have to work so hard once we become business owners because we're only thinking about service businesses. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As opposed to the businesses that actually make money, or even if you are doing a service business, knowing how to run it like a business, you don't have to do all the work.
Right.
We see that where if I hire somebody, instead of me taking home $500, now I got to take home $250. Well, we're not thinking that, okay, if I get that same type of contract 5 times and I send other people out to do that job, I got $250 5 times versus me just trying to make this $250 every time we come out
breaking my back
on that
to do that one contract. 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I made that mistake before. I tried to run my first business entirely by myself. Mm-hmm. And what happened is when I got sick, when I fell off, and when something came up with family, my business started suffering and going downhill. Yeah. There wasn't nothing I can do about it because I'm the only employee.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we got to start thinking about, not thinking, but learning how to run a business, not just because of the way they treating us. we need more people to start thinking about how to properly run a business and not just having a card or wanting to have a title. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because being an entrepreneur, that's an in thing now. That's the thing to say, like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, to be a boss, to be my own boss. But man, what you just shared is a word for me, because as you know, I ventured out and gotten into the entrepreneurial arena or whatever like that. But I was suffering under the delusion that I can do it all by myself.
Yeah.
And then when you start thinking about it at scale, there's just no possible way you could do it now. And I know the reason why, for me personally, that I felt that way is because I did want to keep them, kind of try and keep my expenses down and stuff like that. But there's no real way to grow without more people. Unless you can run that thing totally online and it's all generated through, let's say, Amazon delivery, or something like that. There's really no way to
even
to
with
do
that. You
still relying on people. Yeah,
I mean?
you're employing Amazon at that point, so they're taking a percentage, right? So,
and most businesses are successful due to them solely thinking about volume.
Right.
Volume is what grows business.
Absolutely.
You don't unless you're in the labor of love like myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can get you doing that, but when you go do business, because I don't consider what I do as business. I'm providing a service, and this is what I enjoy doing.
Right.
But when I think of business, I think about other industries to get into where you don't have to deal with a lot of hands-on.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you start a business, it's about providing jobs and providing a need that the public, a desire,
right,
for consumers.
Mm-hmm. And no one starts, especially a brick and mortar company. No one starts a brick and mortar company expecting that, okay, I got this one location, I'm good now. Or at least I don't think that should be the goal of somebody that gets into business, unless you have a niche where you just want to. Unless it's labor of passion, or like you say, labor of love. But a scalable business, in my experience, a scalable business is, like you said, something that is easy to replicate. And what I'm looking for, the gross to net is feasible over a long period of time. You know what I mean? Like you said, you start off with just getting that $250, that's fine. But if you could replicate that, like you said, have multiple contracts doing the same thing, you got people, you paying out that $250, but now that $250 became $500 and so on, because it's growing. You know what I mean? So the scalability, I think, is a must if you're in it for that. It has to be.
Yeah, you want to make your business take you out of hands-on. You know what I mean? You don't want any labor associated with your position in your company.
Right.
You want that to be all mental and, strategy.
Right. Because otherwise you're going to get lost in the sauce of just the day-to-day. Yeah.
Because if I'm running the business and then I'm doing the business, something's going to be taking a back seat.
It's usually going to be the running it.
Yeah. And and then the money gonna start fleeting away.
Yep.
Or you gonna get sick. You know what I mean? You're gonna be exhausted. Something's gonna happen to you that's offsets, that way that you've been doing it. And and I brought that up to say that there's some things that we can start getting. If we are spending $1 trillion, damn near $1 trillion a year, we need to start reaping within. The black dollar circulates in the black community 6 hours. Not even a whole day. Not even a whole day.
Right.
Traditional white families, white communities, 21 days. Asians are 30 days. Hispanics are like 13 days.
This is from that Killer Mike documentary. I mean, because I just remember those statistics coming from that Killer Mike documentary, where he was actually going out to spend money in the black community right out here in Georgia, and it lasted about that time. Like it didn't. By the time, because he went out with it was a project where he wanted to go out and spend all his money was going to be spent at a black business. By the end of the day, he was sleeping on a bench because he couldn't find a black-owned place to rest his head.
I don't think, that's one thing that we don't understand networking.
Mm-hmm.
I think we think this is what gets a lot of people sour with networking. If me and you are comedians, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If me and you are barbers in two different shops, it doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
What you mean? Mm-mm.
Well, so if we're comedians, we can make everybody can laugh.
Okay.
Everybody can laugh. Everybody can, you know what I mean? Somebody listening to my jokes ain't gonna stop them from listening to your jokes.
Right.
But if you come get a haircut from me, that person more than likely is gonna stick with just that one barber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you out here trying to network, and it to me, the way you network depends on the type of business you have.
You want to find somebody that can supplement what you're doing and vice versa.
Right. You can network with people that do things like they design clothes. They're a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You want people that do things that they'll need your type of service.
Right.
If you only networking with barbers, then what y'all gonna do? Fight over customers? You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
And it's okay to have colleagues in the same field. I'm not saying don't associate yourself with other people in your field, in your industry. I'm just saying I see a lot of friction when I see people try to do it with certain businesses. You know what I mean? So they get turned off and they don't want to network. You just got to learn how to network and who to network with.
Yeah, because to your point, there's networking. And I'm sure you know this. There's networking within the cosmetology world too. I mean, because would you consider barber? That's cosmetology, right? In a sense.
Barbers are barbers.
Okay, so cosmetology is the women that do the hair.
Yeah, that's more of like
so there's a blending there. You see places where they have both barbers and folks that do hair. Yeah. And then the cosmetology are the ones that do
things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm saying scalable where it could be all in the name of beauty. You can have one stop shop where folks can come get their hair cut, they can come get their hair done, they can get their nails done, they can get facials. That's scalable. That's something where you can network with the folks that do that kind of stuff and
if you are a barber, well, I should have said it this way. If you are a barber, of course, networking is cool. But if you own a barbershop,
okay,
you want to network with businesses that you can get something out of it. You know what I mean? Like I said, like a photographer. Well, you can get one of your barbers to cut the hair for the photo shoots,
right?
Or if they have models,
and you can offer service to go out there and do it on set or whatever like that for a fee.
And y'all can kind of barter with each other.
Yeah.
The services rendered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're a shop owner, you don't see Walmart and Target networking.
No,
they're not gonna network.
They're actual, and I think what you're saying without saying
they're competitors.
They're competitors. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
But a lot of times I see a lot of young businesses trying to network with their competition. And then, that's where all the drama starts.
That's when the sour stuff. Yeah, that's when the sour happens.
You weren't supposed to be doing that anyway. I used to get a lot of flack when I stood my ground on. I don't mind, associating with other businesses that do what I do. But I'm not going to network with you to the level that what I'm doing. You know what I mean? If you're in my 30-minute radius or hour radius, no, I don't need to associate with you on a business level. We can be personal friends, but I don't need to be in your shop and you don't need to be in mine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What I'm doing over here, I want that to be unique to my business.
Right.
Now, if I want to mentor somebody in business, again, that'll make it personal. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that with everybody. And I'm not going to do it with somebody that I feel like, okay, I'm going to help them compete with me. That's stupid in business.
You speaking like from experience, man? Has this come up?
No, because I think I think that's a subject that a lot of people don't really touch on.
Okay.
Like networking, you in places like Atlanta, New York, LA, Houston, all the major black cities.
Yeah.
I call them because of the large population of black people in those cities. There are a lot of networking events, but I feel like they haven't been taught proper networking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A lot of them will pull competitors in a room and expect them to do a kumbaya. And at the end of the day, you really just attended an event to get you out the house. You know, it's not really benefiting your business.
That's right.
All you did was put a target on your back for other competitors.
Yeah. And then the pageantry of taking the pictures there, say, hey, I'm at this event. You put it on your, but nothing real. I'm not gonna say nothing comes out of these, all of these events.
You can find business partners that way too.
Yeah.
But you develop those a majority of the time. I don't know all, but a majority of the time you develop those because of personal relationship.
Yeah,
that's not networking when it comes to business. I want to find people. When you go to trade shows and you look at all the vendors there, they network with people that they can utilize in their business. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're not. The Prime Osborne is not going to the Civic Center saying, "Let's throw an event together," when we both are event halls.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No. But I will say I think the word networking could be taken out of context sometimes, because at the end of the day, it's all relative, right? You went to a barber conference with other barbers, but that barber happens to know somebody who does photos. You know what I mean? And does photos in your city. I'm out here in Denver. You came to a conference in Denver, but I happen to know a photographer in Georgia who needs on the spot barber that can come through and help, get the person together for photos and stuff like that. All that's relative. Now, you didn't come there with that intent, but building, like you said, building personal relationships with folks who are in business and maybe in the same field doesn't limit you to where you can branch out and make other contacts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And what I'm saying, not Bible. If anybody that sees like any issue with some of the things I've said, it's just my take on, because my main focus,
because he cut different,
is my main focal point is networking. You know what I mean? When I'm making that argument about properly doing it and knowing what to seek out, when identifying what you want out of this networking is the first thing that you need to do. If you just want to get some barber friends, you want to get some car dealer friends, you want to get some business friends that do what you do, and you want to associate with people that's doing what you're doing, I get that. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know that you need some grooming or some, some mentoring in your business. Yes, definitely. Right. I still have somebody that I can call in my industry. And me and him aren't in competition. We're in two different areas.
Right.
But even if we would still have the same relationship because of our friendship.
Right.
But on the other side of things, like when it comes to strictly business, I think a lot of times we make business personal. Business doesn't have emotions.
Yeah.
Business is not personal
100%,
at all.
Man. 100%.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of businesses fail because of that. That's why a lot of our customer service habits are horrible. I stuttered a little bit because I know sometimes mine is, but that's that, and that's something that you have to relearn in business. Whatever your flaws are, you have to keep teaching yourself and growing in that area as often as possible, because you want to get to a level that you're doing business.
Right.
When you're doing business, you want it to be business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Evolution, I think, is the lifeblood of a business, especially in regards to, like, for example, this thing that happened with the pandemic. We have issues where folks couldn't go to their brick and mortar place because the city was shut down. How do you evolve from that? You know what I mean? Like, you always have to be in that mindset of, what's next and what's changing or whatever. And I think because of, and I'm not saying all, please don't, think I'm talking about all businesses, but I think the ones that become stagnant are the ones that make emotional decisions with their business. You know what I mean? Like, it's not looking at it as black and white. They see the green in it, they see the blue, they see the, and everything like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can give so many examples in that arena. I've been guilty of that.
Oh, we all have. Yeah.
We it's not just that either. A lot of times when you get so personal with your employees, with your customers, sometimes you have to know you can't stop relationships from forming. You know what I mean? When you do business,
right?
But you can't do that with everybody. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I think, I've witnessed quite a few people like cross them lines so much that the lines are so blurred. It's not a business anymore. It's a friendship. Now, when it's a friendship and you attach money to services or goods, why you charging me this much?
The signals get crossed.
Oh, why you always trying to negotiate my prices? I thought we was cool. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you start having conversations like that on a regular. And that kind of either going to sour the business or it's going to sour your attitude.
It's going to affect that bottom line. And your attitude. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to start changing your attitude. Now you went from Mr. Nice, you know what I mean? Mr. Nice guy, servicing the community.
Right.
Now you've been burnt by those kind of interactions with your customers or your employees. Now you miss the attitude.
How do you find that balance? Like, how have you found that balance here at your shop? Like, what or are you still learning that? Like, what's a good balance point for you? Like,
my balance. I don't know if this is going to answer understanding.
Okay.
Understanding what my job is, and understanding what my business requires of me. So it's easy for me to be a certain way with certain people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It makes me, no matter, I give the impression I've learned, and now some things I still have to correct because I still have to bring a few people along. But just understanding business is what really did. I don't know if I can really answer that. Because for me, it took a whole lot of mistakes to get me to where I'm at.
Got it.
Like a lot. And a lot of times, even I'm sure in your arena, you don't know a lot of people that you grew up with that do what you do.
Right.
Or that hold positions that you hold.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to learn that kind of, the books can tell you all kinds of stuff.
Right.
The movies can, documentaries can tell you all kinds of stuff. College can do all of this for you. But you don't learn something until you're actually doing it.
100%. Yeah, and I think that's some of the best experience you can have, actually.
Yeah.
The stuff I learned in school, man, pales in comparison to actual application out on the field, like actually doing the job. Like, and I'm not knocking that. Go to school, get the 4-year degree, get in debt, but don't get in debt. Get a degree in something that's going to cash.
Though.
Yeah. No knock.
Come out of school with a degree in art education.
No knock on my historians. No knock to my
historians. And
what else?
Knocking them.
But do something that's going to be lucrative, man. But yeah,
that's little enough to pay your loan back.
Please get that loan. But we got Biden in the house now, man. We're going to see what's going to happen, man. I got a letter from them just the other day.
The Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope, man. He all we got.
Going to disappoint y'all.
You think so?
Biden and Sister Judas.
Sister Judas?
Yes, sir.
Why you calling her Sister Judas?
I wish I had a microphone so I could have did it. Hey, brother, look here. Don't ask me those kind of questions.
Maybe a topic for another day.
I feel like she's one of them chicks that throw rocks and hide a hand.
In terms of throwing rocks at the black community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to expound on that? I'm interested. Give me. You talking about her work as a DA?
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily that. I was having this conversation with somebody before, and the stuff that we saw early on in her race that was on YouTube came off of YouTube after she gained popularity, after people were criticizing her about some of the things she said about black men in the state of California. A lot of that stuff disappeared once she started getting popularity, and they had an arena they wanted her to operate in, black people, black women.
Right.
So they had to erase some of that stuff off of
YouTube,
off social media.
What was being said?
Well, she had an attitude like we just deserved the treatment that we were getting. That's in short. That's what I'll say.
From the government or
from the judicial system.
So from the judicial system,
we deserved it.
Damn.
And at the time, she was the judicial system. She was the justice system.
Right, in the state of California.
Yeah, and she could have changed. She could have altered a lot of her decisions, case by case. But she treated us a lot of times as all like criminals. And not saying that black people can't be criminals, but all of us ain't.
Right.
And for you to be black and have that be a part of your thought process associated with your people.
Right.
That was kind of wild for me to see that, and hear that from her.
Let's say, and I know we're kind of off topic, but what else is new, right? Let's say that was the case, with her being in the White House now as vice president and nearly president, looking at Joe Biden's age or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Do you think? I mean, do you believe there's room for redemption for her in terms of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But it's politics, though.
Oh, well, it's always going to be politics. Well, politicians. It's built in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, I don't. Joe Biden definitely did some things in his 20, 30, 40 years in politics that could be definitely deemed racist, biased. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you talking about the three strike law that he supported? Because everybody
wasn't it him that helped come up with that? They presented that to Clinton now, I believe. I believe the presentation was done.
It was done in the House. He was the senator. They just voted on it.
I believe he had something to do with the it's a little bit deeper than just passing it.
Okay.
It's a little bit deeper, some of his attachment to it. And not just that one. There's a whole lot of things that are, that he's associated with that were detrimental to black people, as far as the judicial system and the way the government interacts with black people in this country anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of hard. I'm not wanting to say a whole lot without actual facts.
Yeah. Because
I don't want to just
that's a
say
good topic, though. That's a good topic. We could probably talk about it another time. That's a good topic.
We can definitely table that another Sunday.
Yep.
I'm definitely with that. But I guess briefly we should go back to what initially we were talking about 30 minutes ago.
That was here we go. That
was
Black Wealth.
Because we went off, and I hope nobody feels like we spent a whole lot of time criticizing us on our behaviors, but all of that was to support us unifying in that arena as well. You know what I mean? Our money don't unify, so how could we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we not building together financially, a lot of the stuff that we saying is just gonna fall on deaf ears. Those going right to the grave. None of that stuff gonna be accomplished. We can't have community programs if we don't have wealthy black Americans to support them.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
To that point, I always go back to this. It's about policies. If you consider the disparity with owning a home, which a lot of experts would say is the gateway to financial independence, is really through a home ownership, because there's so many avenues as far as the equity in that home and different things that you can do to help get yourself a business started or whatever, home ownership. So let's
very high on the list.
Yeah, and so if you just focus in just on home ownership and the disparities with our people versus whites and other races. I think I read a study where we're like it's the deficit or the deficiency in the amount of monetary value for that home is about $45,000 compared to a white counterpart. So that's it. That's $45,000 for that same house if a white person stayed in it versus a black person. So and then if you look at the amount of money so they took that number and then they multiplied it by how many how many African Americans are in the country. That equates to about over $110 billion. $110 billion, for perspective, $110 billion was enough to fix the Flint, Michigan pipes 300 times over. It was enough to completely eradicate the disaster in Hurricane Katrina, in New Orleans Hurricane, where I'm from. What else? It was enough to. It's enough to finance 8 million 4-year degree scholarships. So when you and that's just, and now we're just talking about the policies of the discrimination with housing. If you start opening it up to imprisonment and the different policies that that have subjugated our community for so long, man, we're losing out on so much money based off of these policies. You know what I mean? And not even money. I'm equating the money to opportunities. You know what I mean? Just based off of the policy. So I always go back to policies, and I got to give a shout out to everybody that voted for, who voted in the runoff here in Georgia. Congrats to everybody. We made it happen. Let's make sure we hold the politicians that we put in there accountable to do what they say they was going to do. So I'm sorry, I had to give a little plug there.
Oh, that's cool. Like I said, even though I'm not a voter, I support anybody that wants to, because it's your right to vote or not. That is a right,
mm-hmm.
and that shouldn't be taken lightly. Like, just as much as I don't want to participate,
mm-hmm.
I should be as supported as if I wanted to. And I say that to say that because a lot of black people get slack when they don't participate in politics,
mm-hmm.
as if the whole civil rights movement
is on your back.
Is solely about voting.
Okay.
And that's the furthest from the truth.
Well,
and the fact that at the end of the civil rights movement, a lot of their eyes were open to what the politicians were using, how they were being used.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them started sliding back from that because they were making it about that thing in which those politicians needed them, but our communities were suffering because we were only focused on one thing. We had to get back to the things that mattered, but by the time we came back, we got what we got now.
Okay.
We took our eyes off of our communities,
mm-hmm.
and that's what was more detrimental to, our community, other than what they were doing, what they've been planning into our heads and into society and their structures, how they run this country.
Right.
But taking our eyes off the prize, man, and we did.
I agree to an extent that there's no question that the civil rights was so much more than just plain voting, right? But at the same time, voting is such an integral part to the progression of our country. You know what I mean? Or our communities or whatever. You go from, local councilmen all the way up to the President of the United States. It's all based off of what's being passed. Like, what's being legislated and what's being passed. So, for example, you'll see where what was the name of that guy? What was the name of that guy? I can't think of him. The point I'm trying to make is there's a there's billions of dollars being spent per year on lobbying. Thanks, man. Lobbying.
It's okay. It's in the air today. It's in the air because I sure had a lot of little,
right.
You know, I got these soup coolers, so it's hard to
so do I.
say all what you want to say sometimes.
Yeah, I got a pet too. But these folks that spend billions of dollars on these politicians to influence them to
and that's
get
legal.
them their absolutely. All I'm saying is we need to get in that arena too. You know what I mean? Not so much where we're trying to pay off politicians, but we need to make our voice heard.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah. To a larger extent.
Can I combat something that you said earlier? Okay.
Sure.
Not really combat it, but...
Okay. No, well, let's have it out, man. Shit.
See, I can't argue with politic enthusiasts because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about sometimes. But...
That's what I'm saying. Go for it. Go ahead. Nah, go ahead, man.
So, you said something earlier. I'm trying to think about what you said.
Okay.
You said that, you know, politics, voting, the influence and the impact that it has on our country. Our country, that means that's inclusive of everybody.
Right.
What have black people gotten out of politics for us since we've been involved in politics on a scale, in a comparison scale now, to what the forwardness of this country, right? We progressed a lot as a country.
Right.
Black people in 2021 are still marching and fighting for the same thing. I'm not just talking about the violent part of it.
Okay.
I'm talking about the policies.
Okay.
We still voting, running, and we still voting and marching and protesting for the right to vote.
Yep. Yeah.
It's amended. Why won't they just take that out? Make it inclusive of all Americans. You know what I mean? I feel so disrespected every time I think about that.
We're talking specifically about the,
voter rights.
Voter rights, right?
Yeah.
Like convicted felons being able to vote and different things
Not
like that.
One.
Just
not that one. The one that actually, the amendment that actually gives us the right to uncontested voting.
Okay,
like
okay,
that,
gotcha. Yeah.
For black people.
Right.
When that's a policy that one, you can erase the one that was in there that said that everything was allowed. Mm-hmm. Take that out, and then you can take the amendment out.
Yeah. You're
and
talking
we're
about
fine.
the one all the way back, like when it was first passed, like in 19...
No, I think this is the one in the 60s.
Yes, with L.B. Johnson.
Right. Take that out. Mm-hmm. Like, we shouldn't have to show up every 10 years to vote for that.
But here's the thing, though, and I hear what you're saying, bro. I do.
I know what you're going to say. For the protection, right?
No.
What?
Hell no. Actually, just the opposite. That's even more reason why we should be voting. And that's even more reason why, because as long as, listen, I feel like any progress, whether it benefit us exclusively or it benefited any race or culture in this country, has been on the sweat of our brow. Absolutely. Like, we've always pushed this country to be a more perfect union by calling out the injustices and stuff like that, and it's not going to stop just because they amended this and this, that. Man, them people are working on, while we sitting up here talking, they're working on ways to to re-roll out the gerrymandering with how they do the districting. I can't talk today. In a different the different areas to what's considered a Democratic area, what's considered Republicans. They're doing that right now, and that makes it even more imperative why we need to be engaged. Yes, we're not going to get it all in one vote. We have never gotten everything that we wanted, but to make this more perfect union, I'm a firm believer that in order to make this a more perfect union, everybody got to be on board, including the ones who have been disenfranchised the most, including us, man. We got to stay involved.
I'm not saying don't get involved.
You know?
See, I don't want that to be misunderstood, too.
Right.
Puffy has our black party that he's been working on for the last year or so.
Okay.
In order for us to make an impact in that arena, it has to be a lot of us moving in the same area,
Mm-hmm.
moving together.
Right.
And it's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, that's cool to get something as a result of. That's fine. But I'm saying if you're going to vote, get something out of it. And I'm not saying it because that's the popular thing to say, but everybody else that votes gets something out of it.
Now, that I cannot contest.
You know what I mean?
Right. I can't
So why
contest.
are we not specifically getting
Right.
things for us?
Right.
I should not have to still be voting. It's not that I'm not even entirely anti-voting.
Mm-hmm.
I just always made the stance that, one, we did not die for votes. We died for equality.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I've always wanted black people to understand. We didn't die for that. We were dying for everything that we have right now.
Right.
People were dying to sit at the counter and eat a sandwich.
Right.
So it's not just about voting.
Facts.
I think the Jews got something. Not that I think. I know the Jews got something.
Mm-hmm.
The Asians got something.
100%.
The Hispanics got something. Everybody's getting something for showing up in politics. You got black people that draw lines within our own community over this very subject, and we don't have a pot to piss in when it comes to that. It's things that we're doing every time we make any kind of progression for minorities.
Mm-hmm.
That includes Asians,
Yes.
Spanish.
We're lifting up the entire.
Jews,
Yeah, a rising
all
tide
of it.
rises all boats.
And the only time they make those kind of adjustments for minorities is when it's economically a good decision.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's after all the fighting, the rioting, the protesting, the shooting. After all of that's done, then they get in their little rooms and they like, oh, you know what? Damn all of that stuff they was talking about. Did you know if we did this right here, we can get that golf club in here.
Right.
And me and you can go half on this business and we can make money off of them. They want some nice stuff in their neighborhoods. Let's do it. But we're going to push them out.
On it. Mm-hmm. Man, you said something so profound just now, though, because when you think about the institution of slavery of our ancestors, man, it wasn't just for the subjugation of our people. It was to make money. It was capitalism.
Yeah.
This shit, all of it was capitalism. And even to this day, the prison system, which I saw that Biden signed an executive order to no longer privatize state prisons. A little too late, but even our prison system, it's capitalism, man. That's a business you can own. You know what I mean? To have prisoners do labor, it's another form of slavery, man. So it's just crazy to hear you say that because it makes so much sense.
I always say they never got rid of the plantation; they just pushed the lines back.
Yep, and they changed out the rags for stripes and orange jumpers.
Yep,
pretty much.
And,
pretty much, man.
And to get off the plantation now, you need a passport.
A passport and a shit. What's the ID?
Yeah.
What do they call it? The voter ID and all these different things that they're trying to push. I'm telling you, dude. Like, you know, we always gonna have different opinions on that. I think we do see eye to eye to a certain extent on why it's important to vote.
Absolutely. Anybody that feels like that's important, they better go out there.
Right.
And I always make a joke. Hey, y'all able to vote because of brothers like me. And I mean that to my core. Yeah, I say it jokingly. But if it wasn't brothers out there that love us and that's willing to die for us, y'all wouldn't be able to vote. A lot of them brothers didn't vote.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't saying I'm a gangster or a thug or nothing like that, but y'all need men that actually care about y'all getting all the rights that y'all entitled to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But how you do that without voting?
Huh?
What you mean?
What you mean?
You said
you have a right to eat what you want to eat.
Right.
You need some brothers out there that like, you better let them eat that.
Oh, you talking like our Panthers and our...
Yeah. You need some brothers out there, you better move out the way and let them
Black
sit
Lives
down.
Matter, right. No, I'm with it. I got you. Yeah, man, but it's...
You don't want these problems. Man.
They don't want no smoke.
Man, they really don't. They really don't. When I said what I said, I meant it. But inclusive of all things, man, and all people. You know what I mean? All I've ever been saying about that, and I don't want anybody to ever get the wrong impression about this show, is that our white brothers and our Asian brothers, to anybody that's ever had a black friend, our rights and our feelings and our thoughts and our place in this country are just as important as yours are.
Right.
So, on that note, man, we got to do this again.
Okay.
I'm
For sure.
going to ask you on air when you want to come back.
I'm
just messing with you.
That's the topic after the break. But I enjoyed my time, man. I'm always enjoy the time
I appreciate
here, man.
you, bro.
Yep.
And we just shook hands with COVID.
COVID
I got
out here.
sanitizer up there though.
Yeah, so
smack it up.
Right, so that dap y'all heard, it's gonna be followed behind with some sanitizer, man.
Yes,
y'all
sir.
Stay safe out there.
Stay very safe, man. And again, this has been an episode of Cut Different on all platforms. Like, share, comment, subscribe on YouTube. These are my 2 cents. You can spend it or save it. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Let us know what y'all think. Send a message. Leave a comment. Just let us know, man. Play the music.